Hello guys, I'm Bethany and welcome back to my channel. Do we like the new setup? It's kind of fun, kind of like really cute. So if you didn't watch my last video, I swapped our bookcases and put mine in our office and Ethan's in our dining room because the lighting in here is so much better and I'm able to film videos in here. So today we are doing my reading wrap up. I love doing these each month and I am very happy with this reading month. It was so good. I read so many good books. I read 9 books this month and I have the books that I own right here turned around so you cannot see. But you probably know what some of these books are because I literally have talked about most of them in reading vlogs. So I will link every reading vlog below that I filmed this month with any of these books if you want my like reactions to them. So let's get into it, shall we? I'm very excited. So first I read Hothouse Flower by Kristen Becker-Ritchie. It is the 6th book, I can't remember, in the Addicted/Calloway Sister series, and I really enjoyed this one. This one is probably my favorite. It's not probably, it is definitely my favorite of the series so far. I thought it was so good. There were so many twists and turns, and it was just really fun to read. It's about Daisy and Reich. I don't think that's a spoiler. These books have been out for so long, and also every time I watch one of these videos, people like say that. They say that this book is about Daisy and Reich. So I really enjoyed it. I loved them together. I thought they were so cute. Even though it's like a age gap romance, I really enjoyed it. And it was just fun. Like I feel like there was no part of the book where I was bored, and I feel like in the other books, in the middle, it kind of like goes dry a little bit, like not much is happening, but in this book, literally there's always something going on. Like you think it's calm and then something else happens. I gave it 5 stars, which is the highest I've rated any of the books. I haven't given any of the books 5 stars yet, but I really enjoyed this one. Highly suggest the series. It is very spicy, so just know that going into it. I don't love spice, but I can look past it because I just love the series so much. It is like definitely friends to lovers, which I really enjoyed, but also speaking of the spice, there's a lot of cussing. Reich's favorite word is the F word, so I feel like that is in the book so often, so if you don't like profanity, maybe not read this. I had someone comment on one of my videos about if a book had profanity, so I'm gonna try to tell you. If I don't say anything, it's probably very minimal, very like not bad at all, but I did want to say that because it's a lot of cussing. That's very unnecessary. Like it is Reich's personality, but it's so annoying. Like I don't want to read all that, but anyways, really enjoyed it. Now let's get on to the physical books. I'm so excited about this one. My favorite book of the month and literally probably my favorite book of the year. Yours truly by Abby Jimenez. This does not come out until next April, so I'm very sorry about that, but this book is so good. I actually read it on NetGalley, and I also did a contest to get a physical ARC. I didn't get accepted on NetGalley until after I'd already done this contest, so I don't want people to think I like tried to get both, which wasn't my intention. I didn't think I was going to get accepted on NetGalley, and that's why I did the physical ARC, but then I did get accepted on NetGalley, so I read it on my Kindle, and then I got the physical ARC in the mail, and I want to reread the physical copy and tab it because it's so good, and also the cover is so cute. I'm obsessed with it. But basically, if you've read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, this is about Alexis's best friend Bree, or Brianna, and Jacob is the guy interest, like love interest. Basically, Bree is an ER doctor at a hospital, and Jacob is a new ER doctor that just started, and they don't really get off on the right foot, but I would not say it's enemies to lovers at all. They get on the right foot pretty quickly, and also I watched an interview with Abby Jimenez and she said she loves reading enemies to lovers, but she's not very good at writing them because, like, it's not very enemies to lovers because they become friends pretty quickly, and I feel like that is definitely the case in this book. I feel like you should go into this book blind and just know it's about Alexis's best friend. You don't have to read Part of Your World to read this book, but I would recommend it because you get little cameos of Daniel and Alexis from Part of Your World and the town in Part of Your World in this book, so it's just more fun if you read both. She is writing another book about another character in this book, so it's like in the same world, which is super fun. It's kind of like a series, but you can definitely read them as standalones, which is super fun. I did like a whole deep dive about this book in a reading blog, so I'll link that below, but basically the main guy character struggles with anxiety, and I've never read that in a book, like a main character struggling with it, and it's so well done how Abby writes about it. Like it's dual POV, so you get Jacob's point of view of like his anxiety and how he struggles with like social events and all this kind of stuff, which I found so relatable. In all of Abby Jimenez's books, she touches on hard topics, so it makes it very lighthearted, which I really enjoy. So she does that in this book as well as all of her other books. I've read all of her books and I've gave them all 5 stars. They're so good. They're up here. I have a few of them. but this one is definitely my favorite. She gets better every time. And also I just really loved Bree. She was so fun and like spunky, but her and Jacob just worked so well together. I just love this book so much. Like, books don't get better than this. This is definitely like a cinnamon roll character, the guy character, which I love. I love cinnamon roll characters. They're my favorite. And he's just so sweet and kind. And I just think he's the best book boyfriend ever. I follow this girl. She's on a podcast I listen to, Becca Freeman. She's on the Bad on Paper podcast, and she was posting a story about a book, and she said that she's going to force it in the hands of strangers. And that's how I feel about this book. Like, I'm forcing it into anybody that will listen to me. Please read this book. Also, there is a little bit of spice. It's definitely not closed door, but I feel like it's not like too bad. I would give it like maybe 1 pepper of spice. Like, that's how people on Bookstagram rate spice. I would say maybe 1 or 2. Not much at all. Like, very easy to skim over if you want to. There are some like inappropriate jokes. I feel like Abby does that in her books, but they're kind of funny. I don't think they're like super inappropriate, and you can always just skim past them. So I wanted to let you know about that, but so good. Where should I put these? Should I send them right here? Okay. What did I read next? Next, we have All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. This was a doozy. I also read this in my reading vlog, and I bawled my eyes out because it is so sad. So basically it's about Quinn and Graham. It's like a then and now timeline where you see them meet and fall in love, and then 7 years later where they are struggling in their marriage. A trigger warning for this book is infertility, so if you struggle with that, I probably wouldn't read this book. It's very heavy in the book. It's a very prominent part of the book, so just let you know. But I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorites from Colleen Hoover. This and It Ends With Us are my 2 favorites from Colleen Hoover. I love them. And one thing I loved about this book, and all Colleen Hoover books in general, is they don't end perfectly. Like, I feel like rom-coms and romance books that I read, a lot of them, they are ending perfectly with like all the bows tied and just like rainbows and butterflies. Not to say that this doesn't have a good ending, because it does, but it doesn't have a perfect ending, which I really enjoy. Big fan. So the next book I read was on my Kindle. I read So That Happened by Katie Bailey. I read The Roommate Situation and The Neighbor War by her and really enjoyed them, and this is her other book. So I really wanted to read it, and I really enjoyed it. Actually, she's coming out with another book in this like series world next year, and I'm so excited about it. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.25 stars, and it's basically about Annie, and she is moving back from New York City to Atlanta, I think. And she got a new job, and she's, you know, on the plane about to head home, and the guy sitting next to her, Liam, they just don't really get along. He's kind of grumpy, and then the plane, something happens, they're not able to fly home that day, so they have to stay in a hotel, and they end up staying in the same hotel room because there's like a mix-up. And then they wake up, you know, go on their own separate ways, and then she gets to her new job on Monday and realizes he is her boss, which is quite an ordeal. I feel like it didn't romanticize like boss and employee relationships. They actually were like, didn't really want that to happen. Like, it was enjoyable. It wasn't like a romanticizing of that. Does that make sense? I also read this in my reading vlog, so I'll link that below because I share more thoughts. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. There were some cameos of the characters from the other 2 books in this one, and they aren't like in the same series or anything, but they're just all in Atlanta, I think. So I really love that. That was really fun to see the other characters. I did think that the first 100 pages were kind of slow, but after that it picks up and it gets really good and really enjoyable, and I really liked the slow burn. It was really, really good. I liked it a lot. I'm very excited for the next book to see more of these characters and find out what happens with Liam's sister. Next is another physical book, and it is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I love this book so much. I also talked about this in a vlog. Really enjoyed this book. So fun for fall, like the perfect fall read. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I had so many good books this month. Basically, it's about Florence, who is a ghostwriter for a famous author, and she just went through a bad breakup, so she thinks romance is dead, and then she ends up meeting a ghost. I'm not gonna give any more away because I think you should go into this book blind and you'll have a great time. I'm not sure about ghosts, not sure how I feel about them, but I really enjoyed reading it in this book, and I just thought it was so fun for fall. Like, if you want a fall cozy romance, you should read this because it was so good. I felt like this book was like really filled with hope. I've seen so many people review it and say that. Like, just the whole story, like, you just feel full of hope after you finish it, and it made me feel like ghosts, if they are real, not sure about them, that they're not scary, they're like friendly, because obviously the ghost in this book is a friendly ghost. So I also felt like there were so many good quotes. Like, Ashley is such a good writer, and there were so many times, like, I tabbed like usually the romantic moments, like the sweet moments, but I had so many times where I loved the quote and I just wanted to tab it, so I did. Loved it so much. Big fan. put it on my stack there. Next, I'm so excited about this one. When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I have my little pie sticker here. I did a whole reading vlog on this book this month because it just released, but I got my pre-order a day early and literally binged it in one sitting, and it was so good. It's my favorite Sarah Adams book. By far, I think she just continually gets better. That's how about her and Abby Jimenez. Sarah Adams, Abby Jimenez, all their books are incredible. Like, you can't pick a book and it not be good. They're just all good. But basically, this is about a pop star, Amelia, and she is burnt out and wants to get out of town. She is from Nashville, but she loves Audrey Hepburn, and in the movie Roman Holiday, Audrey goes to Rome, Italy because she wants to get out of town. She's burnt out. But obviously Amelia cannot go to Rome, Italy, so she goes to Rome, Kentucky. It is not a real place, sadly. But from what Sarah Adams says, it is based off a real place that is in, I'm assuming, Alabama, because she said it's between Tennessee and Florida. She doesn't remember the name because I asked her, but it's somewhere in there. There's a town that she like imagined this town to be, but it isn't in Kentucky. But I think there is a Rome, but it's not like the town she's talking about. Anyways, so basically she gets to Rome, Kentucky, and she breaks down in front of Noah's house, who's a pie shop owner, and she ends up staying for a little bit. And it is just so good. It's so cute. There also is 3 more books in the series on Noah's sisters, which is just so fun. Also, it's so cute. It's perfect for fall. If you want a cozy romance to read this fall, you should read this book because it's literally so cute, so cozy. It's Closed Door, which I love, The Slow Burn, Grumpy Sunshine, Found Family. All this stuff is in this book, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. But I have a whole reading vlog that I will link if you want more info on this, if you want more of my thoughts, because I could talk all day. So we're gonna put you up. Next, I read a book that was kind of a disappointment. The only book that I did not enjoy this month was Neighbors Like That by Corinna Taylor. I actually read an arc from her, Forget Me Twice. I really enjoyed it, and I recommend it in my fall recommendations because I loved it so much. And because I loved it, I wanted to read one of her other books. So I read this one and I did not enjoy it very much. I gave it 3 stars because I was just so disappointed. It was like it was just lacking something. I don't really know. Also, I feel like I've been reading a lot of books about neighbors, but basically it's about this girl. I literally don't know her name. This is what happens every time if I don't own the book, I just forget their names. Kylie and Hagen, that's their names. So it's basically about Kylie, and she has a new neighbor, Hagen, and when she first like goes over to his house to introduce herself and all this stuff, just to be a nice friendly neighbor, they just get off on the wrong foot, and then they end up having like a war between houses, and it's kind of like enemies to lovers type vibe, which I have read books that I really enjoyed, like Katie Bailey's The Neighbor War was very similar to this, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cute. I thought the like chemistry was so good, and like the buildup was good, but something about this was lacking. I don't know what it was. One thing, I think it was supposed to be a rom-com, but then it takes a turn. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about, but like I'm like, this turn does not feel like a rom-com. I'm really confused. It was very short. It was like 220 pages, I think. But I feel like by the end, we just didn't get enough of them to like feel like they were like soulmates, like together, like wanting to be together, in love. Like we didn't get enough. So like they were saying all this stuff, and I was like, I just feel like we didn't get enough of y'all two together to really think that about you. Like maybe it was too quick, or we didn't get enough descriptions of them together. I don't really know. I felt like, honestly, I was reading the book and I kept waiting for this like moment, this like big feeling moment where they like, I can feel the chemistry between the characters, and I just like, oh, I understand why they feel the way they do about each other. And like I can feel like the love between the characters. If you read a romance book, you know what I'm talking about. I was just waiting for that. And then I finished the book and I was like, I don't think I ever got that. It just missed something. I don't really know how to explain it, but it was really disappointing, and I'm sad about it because I feel like I was enjoying it. Like it was a quick read, I feel like, but I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it just never happened. I do like this author. I feel like her newest book that's coming out in November, I really enjoyed, and I was looking for that chemistry in this book, and it was just lacking. Sometimes you just don't connect with the book. You know what I mean? So nothing against the author, I just didn't enjoy it. Let's continue, shall we? Let's talk about some good books. Next, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is a reread for me because I read it on my Kindle, I think, early 2021. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and I bought the physical copy a couple months ago, and I really wanted to reread it and have it, and that is exactly what I did. I love this book so much. I honestly feel like I flew through it the first time I read it, that I couldn't remember everything that happened, so I almost felt like I was kind of reading it for the first time again. Not really, because I kind of knew what was gonna happen at the end, but a lot of things I kind of forgot. So it was very fun to reread it. So basically it's like a second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers. So basically Macy lived in San Francisco and they got this like weekend house or like summer house on a lake, and the next door neighbor is Elliot. When she was there, her and Elliot would hang out, they became friends. Obviously, you know what happened. They had a falling out, obviously, and then how many years later? A lot of years later, I feel like 11. I'm wanting to say 11. They see each other in a coffee shop, and it goes from then and now, what happened then, what's happening now, and it's just so good. I loved it. Everyone raves about this book, and they also compare it to Every Summer After, which I can get, but I'm also like, I feel like the stories are completely different in what happens at the end. It's not just me. I feel like you can read this one and Every Summer After and enjoy both of them because they're two different stories. Like, they're not the same. It gives similar vibes, but I don't think it's the same. I don't know. Also, Macy and Elliot love to read, so they have this like reading closet and they just like love to read, which is so fun, so cute. So anyways, if you have not read this book, which you probably have, I recommend it. I loved it, and it was so fun to read it for a second time. It was so cute, so good, and I just like flew through it, truly. I didn't put in my fall recommendations because I feel like since it's part of it set at a lake, it's kind of like more of a summer vibe, but also feel like it's kind of cozy. So I really enjoyed reading it in the season, so I do highly recommend reading it now or anytime. It's just so good. So now we are on to the last book. I'm so excited, and it is not a romance. I feel like all the other books were romances, pretty much, but it is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I'm doing a whole reading vlog on this entire series, so I won't give too much away because I want to save it for the reading vlog, and it'll be coming out sometime soon. I obviously haven't finished the series, so I haven't finished filming it, but I did finish this one last night. Basically, it's about Avery, and she's just living her life, going to high school, living with her half-sister, and trying to figure out what she's gonna do with her life. They're like not in poverty, but not like super well off. Basically, she gets this letter in the mail, and she's invited to this like will hearing for this man who has passed away. He is a very rich billionaire, and basically she gets his entire inheritance. And the entire book is pretty much just figuring out why she got this inheritance, because basically the entire family, including his 4 grandsons, were like disinherited, and she was given the inheritance, and she's never met the man. So she's just trying to figure out why, and the 4 grandsons are also trying to figure out why. And it's kind of like puzzles and secret passages and riddles and all this kind of stuff. And it was just, it's so fun. Honestly, perfect for fall, but there will be a whole reading vlog on this series coming very soon. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not even taking my rating, and that's it. So look out for that video coming soon. I'm very excited, but that is all the books that I read this month. I feel like it was such a good reading month. Like, I read so many good books, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm hoping to like maybe not talk about books as much in my like vlogs, so these videos are more of a surprise because I feel like you've already heard so many thoughts about these books because I vlogged reading them. But I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. I love doing these reading wrap-ups, and I would love to hear what you read in the month of September and what you're excited to read for the month of October. Also, I'm not going to be doing a TBR video probably for October and November because I just did my fall TBR and my fall book recommendations video, and I'm going to be reading those books. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to subscribe. I post every Tuesday and Saturday here on YouTube. I would love for you to stick around. I am just having so much fun with the book content, the fall content, all the things. It's so much fun. You can also follow me on Instagram and my Bookstagram. I'm almost to 1,000 followers on my Bookstagram. By the time this video goes up, I will probably be at 1,000 followers, which is literally insane. I'm so thankful. So if you want to follow me over there, you should. I have so much fun. It's literally such a blast. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for my next one. Bye.